the Super Speedway.
I mean, I did exactly what the fucking sheet said to do. I mean, what the fuck? Did they sit out the fucking sheet yesterday, do exactly what they fucking tell us to do? They didn't say lines, they said racing service, so you tell me how the fuck I was on the fucking racing service. While those pieces of shit motherfuckers are sitting out there not doing a fucking thing. Somebody tell me what I did wrong and how the verbiage that they gave us tells me that was incorrect, please. Chase, the 11 can't even pass the 34th place car. If you can figure out what you need to pass, see what you're going to be a semi game on. Yeah, if you can shoot me a fucking physics-defying button, that'd be great. Outside that, you're fucked. That's fucking bullshit. No fucking way that he gets to jump up a row and I get fucked because someone runs that again. That's fucking bullshit. That is fucking bullshit, NASCAR, and you fucking know it. Y'all better change something. Just double check that. We should be control car. You might have jumped the start there. I don't give a shit. That's fucking bullshit. There's no way they should have let that go green. That's ridiculous. You just gave it to him. It ain't over. That's fucking over. I'm on the top. You don't win from the top. Give it to fucking Golden Boy. Son of a bitch.
And welcome to episode 330 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, were you as excited as Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney to be back at the Oval at the Brickyard?
I got so excited listening to all that I'm starting to sweat. That was so much fun.
It took me like 20 minutes today to put all the bleeps in. Those are manual bleeps.
Wow. Wow, we got to put the parental advisory sticker on this episode.
I really wanted to run it uncensored, but then I'd have to put the explicit tag on.
You gave me the 1-2 punch too. You hit me with the chase, you warmed me up, and then you knocked me out.
I couldn't choose between the two of them. They were so good.
That was great. Oh, it was all-time rants, both of them. Wow.
I had that audio saved from Sunday afternoon, man.
Dude, and then you nailed it you ended it with Golden Boy. Just
right.
Chef's kiss. Good job.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
Wow. Now we have to actually entertain people with our words.
Yeah.
After that. That's a tough act to follow.
Yeah, I know. We might as well just stop right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was sipping on my Capri Sun, just giggling away, but
I know. I've heard it already like 16 times, and I was still laughing as I was listening to it. So good. So good.
When Blaney just is defeated and says, "I can't win from the top," that's really good.
The best part about the Chase Elliott audio is I cut some out too. He was going on forever, and then there was a point where they're counting him down for the restart, for the choose, and they count him down, and he goes, they miscounted or something. He said, "Well, it sounds like you guys missed a number or something up there," and they said, "Well, math is hard," and he replies back, "Well, apparently so is enforcing the blend line." It's like, dude, you were still going.
Do you remember the scene in Days of Thunder where Cole Trickle peels off a pit road? It's at Darlington. He gives up the lead, right? Mm-hmm. He gives up the lead, and they have a bad pit stop.
Yep.
And he's just bleep this, bleep that on the radio. That's exactly what poor Alan Gustafson was dealing with.
Yeah, you're right. We need to take that audio and put it over top of that clip from the movie.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
I might have to bust out Final Cut Pro tonight when we're done with this podcast and put that one together.
if I give you the clip that goes viral, you take it, man. You run with it. Don't slow down.
That's good stuff.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Great stuff. Well, James, we're back on the oval at the Brickyard. I do have a question for you though.
Yeah, man.
Who won anyway? Because I mean, I didn't see the end of the race. It switched to USA. And I was recording. I still don't know who won the race.
Luckily for me, I was watching live on the NBC Sports app.
Yeah.
So I did not have.
Oh, really?
I did not have any.
That would be
interruption.
That app that I can't use apparently as a YouTube TV subscriber because it wouldn't let me log in.
Not.
It let me log in, and then it said this content's not available to your provider.
Yeah, when it switched to USA, I thought of you immediately because I knew you were traveling. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna get screwed. I didn't say anything. I'm like, he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Yeah,
nope.
I was not happy.
It's a big rating, though. Man.
Invested the whole freaking afternoon after I got home into watching that thing, and I had to watch the finish on YouTube.
Well, it's not NASCAR's fault.
No, it's not. It's not. Well,
it's not the network. It's technically not the network's fault.
No. Well, it is.
It is. I'm not going to say who I should blame it on.
It is the network's fault because they don't have it available on Peacock. Just put it on Peacock. That's it. I pay for Peacock. James, I pay for cable, which pays for USA and NBC Sports or whatever it is now, and I pay for Peacock. And I still couldn't watch the race.
The system's broken. It's just broken.
Just stupid. Anyway, that's my black flag today. So there you go. That's out of the way.
You didn't.
But it's not It's not because they changed the channel. It's fine. I get it. It was a big historic thing that was so historic that Rick Allen couldn't even utter the actual words of what the breaking news was.
Jeez.
So I don't blame him. That's what happens when you're on network TV. But just let me use the damn app. Anyway.
And if they'd let you use the app, you would have known that Golden Boy, Kyle Larson.
Golden Boy himself.
Golden Boy himself. My pick to win.
Your pick to win.
Got the win.
Probably
the revenge tour.
Probably the best story you could get coming out of Indianapolis. Except it came with controversy, James. There's lots of controversy.
Oh, it's always controversy.
Lots of controversy. And you know what? I'm going to disappoint you. Because I was really prepared to rant and bitch and complain.
No, you're not going to flip on me, are you? I was all ready for you.
James.
Don't flip on me.
James, I'm tired. I'm tired.
Tuesday.
I've put too much energy into complaining about NASCAR's inconsistency with calls.
You put too much energy into putting that clip together at the front of the podcast is what happened.
Right.
And now you're burned out.
I just can't do it anymore. Whatever. It is what it is. They're going to make crappy calls.
You almost said it.
I know. And then I had to go in and bleep it.
Can I say, okay, what call do you want to, what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the restart or do you want to start with the white, yellow flag?
Well, before we even get to the finish, let's talk about the blend line thing that Chase Elliott was pissed off about.
Okay, let's go all the way back.
So Chase Elliott,
Chase Keselowski too.
Yeah, Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski both get busted for going over the line. James, I realize that we've done this before, and this has never been called before, but we haven't raced on this configuration in 3 years. And when you hear the words racing surface, now, don't get me wrong, I've heard the wording that NASCAR used, and it could have been clearer. I give these guys that. But when you hear the words racing surface, do you generally consider the line, the space between the bottom line and the top line of the racetrack to be the racing surface?
I mean,
it didn't say racing groove. It said racing surface.
Yeah, racing surface. Listen, I'm not going to defend Chase Elliott.
Yeah, there's no defense to this call. The only argument that Chase Elliott has is they didn't call everybody that did it. That's right. I have a problem with that.
But he was the most egregious of the bunch.
Oh, by far. Brad's the one I think who has a legit complaint because Brad didn't go as far as Chase did, and it sounds like others around Brad did the same thing and didn't get called.
Brad and Larson, and there's video of this now. I think Freddie Kraft even shared it a little bit ago. The data shows Brad and Larson are very close to each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
I didn't see Brad do it.
Brad got the call. Yeah. Brad got hit with it, and then they didn't call Larson. But Larson, again, Larson's whole race, I'll just say it right at the start of this. Larson's whole race was feathering a very fine line.
Yeah.
And he kept falling on the right side of things, which is fine. That's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, Chase has no fight here. He went on the track. He can't do it.
Yeah.
Not allowed to do it. Everybody else was behaving. Not you. He didn't behave.
Yeah.
So
there's no complaint here. This is a legit call. NASCAR should have been clearer in their explanation. They likely will be next year, but
he finished top 10.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's still it was a good call. No problem with this one. So this one we're good.
Yeah,
except
that was good.
Like I said, maybe others should have been called for it, but Larson was on the line with his tires. His tires didn't even go over, like even his right side tires didn't go over the line. So I don't know. I would tend to err the way NASCAR did between Chase and Larson, and I would call Chase and not call Larson in this instance.
Oh yeah. When Chase was, yards above the line. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
The next one is thanks to Brad Keselowski, who gifted this race to Kyle Larson on a silver platter. He did.
Okay,
go
ahead. Do your thing first.
So,
do your thing.
So Brad is going to run out of gas. They know they're going to run out of gas, but Brad's got a race win. Nothing to lose. We're going to go for it, right? Good with that. Mm-hmm. Brad then pulls off the track, coming to the restart zone. Yep. Car stumbles, pulls off, heads into the pits.
Yep.
Got it. NASCAR's rule has always been when somebody leaves a position for whatever reason, that line moves up. That has literally always been the rule, as far as I know, as far as I recall. That has always been the rule
since double file restarts have become a thing.
It's been since before double file restarts when they had lap cars. But this has always been the thing. NASCAR is not the only series that does it. I follow, like I said, I shoot the Jeg CRA series. Their series, they specifically say when somebody pulls off, they say we do not cross over. The lane pulls up. That is a rule. Yep. So Larson pulls up. Larson now has the obvious better position. Blaney becomes the control car, and they head off into the zone, down into turn one. Larson has the preferred line by a million miles. I mean, there's no chance, as Blaney said in the intro clip. Blaney's not winning that race. There's no way he's winning from the outside. It is an inside lane corner. So Larson essentially gets the lead. They wreck, and now, the rest is history. James, the only real issue I have here is I think Larson jumped the start.
I don't think
I don't know if he did it enough to where they could call it.
Yeah. Well,
but I do think maybe he didn't jump the start. So I listened to like every podcast this week leading up to this.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to hear the different takes on it. Denny looked at the data, and he talked about the data on his podcast. And he says that they launch at the same time, but Larson was rolling in quicker. Only a mile or two an hour, but that little teeny tiny bit is enough to give him that edge. So either way, he kind of jumped the start. But
Larson also on fresher tires.
Yeah.
Which is a factor.
What really screwed Blaney, though, has nothing to do with when Larson launched. It has to do with how he ended up there. And this isn't NASCAR's fault. This is the rule. And yes, it sucks for Ryan Blaney. Yes, Ryan Blaney got screwed. But sometimes the caution comes out at a bad time and you get screwed. Sometimes other things happen and you get screwed. That is not NASCAR's fault. The only person that anybody should be pissed off at is Brad Keselowski. Because he's the one who stayed in the freaking spot knowing he was going to run out of gas. Then again, but can't fault him either.
Yeah,
Joey Logano just did it a couple weeks ago, Yeah. So, honestly, James, I get Blaney is upset, but sorry, dude, this is just the way luck falls sometimes.
And you've got to, there's a couple other factors you got to remember here. If that caution never happens, I am fairly positive Larson was going to get the win regardless.
And I've heard a lot of people say they don't think so, and I agree with you. I think Larson was going to win that race.
He was coming. Yeah. And he was there, and he was waiting, biding his time.
It is hard to pass the leader, but I still think he had enough.
The way he was going, though, he was... And he had fresher tires,
he also didn't have to worry about fuel.
Right. And if, let's say they do tie at the launch of that restart, they tie, right?
Right.
Fresher tires are going to win. Inside lines,
The thing is Blaney would have had to launch so far before Larson, because if they are any bit side by side, if Larson has any edge on the inside, he's going to win the race off of turn two. He just is.
And here's the factor that nobody's talking about that I think needs to be remembered or mentioned. Watch the video clip again. Larson took the inside lane because that team discussed we are going to be prepared for Brad to run out of gas.
Yep.
And Brad peels off to pit road, and there is zero hesitation on Larson's part. He immediately pulls up to that line because he knew it was coming.
Yep.
They took a gamble. that 6 car was not going to make it, whether it would be before the start finish line or somewhere else on the track. That was their gamble.
Well,
We're
and
taking the inside
that's
line,
the key right there. What you just said is the key. Kyle Larson took a gamble. Ryan Blaney took a gamble. Ryan Blaney took a gamble to take the outside lane. The gamble didn't work out for Blaney. It did work out for Larson. That's life.
And it's, right. And sometimes when you gamble, it's about the cards you're dealt, right? Yeah. So Ryan Blaney, what is he supposed to do? He's got to take the high side.
Yeah.
He's got to. And Larson, you could argue, it's like so for me, I'm watching this.
Yeah, you don't
in
because the problem is if you're Blaney and you take the inside line, you've now put yourself behind Keselowski, who is A, slower, and B, going to run out of gas. So you can't take that
and
line.
You're giving
you
up,
have to take the outside.
Right, and you're bumping yourself from second to third.
Right. But Larson has to take the inside because if he takes the outside in the second row.
Again, cards you're dealt, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
And I'm thinking,
this is why we like to choose, James.
Well, exactly. But here, I'll bring this full circle. Trust me. But Larson takes the inside line, knows he's gonna get an opportunity. Again, gambling that he's gonna get that opportunity.
Right.
But I think here's where I will say I think we're gonna have a rule change because of the choose, which we love. We love the choose, right?
Right.
Because of the choose, though. The third place car gets an immediate advantage there. I think NASCAR will in the future. I think NASCAR's going to re-rack them.
You know what I think they should do? I don't think they should re-rack them. I think
leave it blank.
Exactly.
Leave it empty.
That's what they should do. They should that spot. They should if it's front row, that inside row should not pull up. It should just be Blaney on the front row.
Yep.
That or give Blaney the option to choose his lane, and then whatever lane is empty pulls up. Either way.
But how many times is a car going to peel off at that exact moment?
Exactly.
It's tough. Even different. Here's the thing, racetracks too.
There is nothing. We want NASCAR to be consistent, and I'm going to complain about consistency in just a minute. Don't worry, we're getting there. But we want consistency. But then when something like this happens, we want NASCAR to make up rules that aren't in the rule book. Well, they can't do that. Yeah. There's nothing they could have done.
Can't fix it all. Right.
Even if they waive the restart off, they're still not re-racking them. That's not a rule. They don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now you've got more guys running out of gas because they went an extra lap.
Yep.
So no, I have no issue with how this went. I do not blame Ryan Blaney for being livid.
He should be mad. He should He should plead his case.
I guarantee you ask Ryan Blaney today, he's not mad at NASCAR about it anymore. He's just irritated about what happened.
And he's not mad at Larson either, but he wants to win this race. I mean, his car owner owns the track. It's a crown jewel. We're gonna stick with the crown jewel thing. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to win this race, and he wanted it.
And Dale Jr. mentioned the Golden Boy thing today in his podcast, and it's like, you know, there's always a Golden Boy. It's never the same guy. You know, Gordon was the Golden Boy forever. Jimmy Johnson was the Golden Boy. Larson's the Golden Boy. Chase Elliott's a golden. Like, come on, it's just NASCAR doesn't play favorites. I listened to. I finally got
the waiver process, by the way, because that whole thing, he wasn't very golden in that moment. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no kidding. So I drove down in Indianapolis this weekend, and on the way back, I listened to the entire Gary Nelson podcast with Dale Jr. And Gary Nelson talks about it on there that when he took over, when he went from being a crew chief to working for NASCAR. He went to Bill France Jr. and he's like, what's going to happen when you come to me and say, you know, you need to let this go on this guy because this guy is doing this and whatever. And France was like, that's never going to happen because that's not what they do. It's just not what they do. Yep. So, and I will give NASCAR the benefit of the doubt on that. It does not happen. There are too many people involved for it not to come out that they intentionally gave the win to Dale Earnhardt Jr. or whatever it is. So that's all BS. Do whatever you want to say, whatever you want to say, but it's wrong.
Yeah. No, they didn't gift him this win. Again, he feathered a fine line all race long, and again fell on the right side of things. The car was just.
I heard somebody today say isn't what Keselowski did race manipulation, and I'm like, wait a minute. Everything you do on the track is race manipulation. It's the dumbest rule ever.
Yeah. I mean, the racing has changed in the Cup Series, and it's not like compiling top 5s and top 10s aren't doing it for anybody. These guys are going for race wins. And Brad was
I don't know, man. It worked for Bubba Wallace this week. We'll get to that.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk. Well, he's having a good run of a couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's going to be guys who get points, right? But when you've got the playoff win and there's no stage point, I mean, race points at the end of stage 3 don't really matter, when you've already gotten through the stages. It's about, especially for Brad, like he's got a win in the bank. So.
When you've got the playoff win, the guy's leading the points and he missed a race.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Race points to Brad Keselowski don't matter as much as those wins do.
No.
That's for sure. You got to gamble. And we just saw Joey, like you said, Joey Logano go extremely far on fuel.
Yep.
So I think we're still learning. I mean,
nothing Brad did was wrong. They knew they weren't going to make it, but hey, what happens if they do?
He extremely stretched that gap. I mean, that was
he shouldn't have made it as far as he did.
No, Blaney was on empty too. So,
well, the 31 pitted at the same time as him, and they pitted with 5 to go.
Right.
Right. Mean,
yep.
So, all right, let's talk about the one that I am irked over.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So Ryan Preece, we learned after the fact, Ryan Preece ran out of gas coming out of turn 2. Chase Elliott punts him. He spins down at the inside of the backstretch. Tries to get going, moves the car a little bit, but it's not going anywhere. And by the sounds of things, he's out of gas too. So he shuts her down. As the cars are going into turn 4 at this point, coming to the white.
Still smell. Yeah, well,
they weren't to the white.
The videos I've seen, he was still smoking the tires when they got to the line.
No.
So
they knew he wasn't going anywhere.
Well, that doesn't exactly. I'm not going to argue that. They knew he wasn't going anywhere.
Here's a better question for you. So, long story short, you guys have watched the race. They don't throw the caution until after they cross the start-finish line. Race is over. Kyle Larson wins the race. I only know this because I watched it on YouTube, by the way. Just in case you didn't know, I didn't get to watch it on NBC or USA. But anyway.
All the paid subscriptions, right?
Right. Here's the question I have for you. What was it? 160 whatever laps the race is. If that accident happened on lap 20, do they throw a caution?
How fast?
I guarantee you they throw a caution between turn 4 and the start-finish line. Why is it different at the end of the race?
What do we always say about cautions, Eric? Are the cautions for show or are they for safety?
Well, they should be consistent.
Yeah.
That's where the issue is. Now, that being said, James, nothing changes. The only thing that may change is we probably wreck some more cars and a couple more people run out of gas.
I'll tell you what the change is. Here's what the change is. Because we had this argument. We had it out. You and I had it out.
Yeah.
Nashville. Let me just remind everyone.
Yeah. 5
overtime,
green light checkers.
Overtime. Yes, 5 times the overtime. We had the same situation brewing. It would have
been worse because it's a 2.5 mile racetrack. You run out of gas there, you're not getting around.
And let me tell you something. I was thrilled that they let him cross because I didn't want to go through that again.
Yeah, I did.
And I'll go back to what I was saying about Brad not caring where he finishes in the race as long as he's trying to still stay in it to win. None of those teams were going to pit.
No.
They were all going to keep going for it. We were going to have the same thing that happened at Nashville happen at Indianapolis. Yeah. And it was going to be horrible. It was going to be horrible.
It was going to be awesome. Chaos.
No.
Exciting.
It's not good. That is not good chaos. That's not the kind of chaos you want.
All chaos is good chaos, James.
No. Not good chaos. Nope. Bad chaos.
I disagree with you, but you're right. That's what would have happened. But I'm in for it. I'm here for it.
And I remember you saying to me, James, this is an outlier, James. This has never happened before. I'm here to say I think this is going to happen more often if we don't do something about it, which I think NASCAR made the right call here and saved us from this whole show that was about to happen.
Was it safe for the field to race by Ryan Preece in turn 2?
No, you can't.
Then the caution should have come out when it was unsafe. When it was determined that it was going to be unsafe.
Well, when the cars were entering turn 1, they threw the caution flag.
No, they should have thrown it in turn 4, James.
He was safe. It wasn't an entertainment flag. It was a safety flag.
No, you are wrong. You are wrong. But it wouldn't have changed anything because Kyle Larson still would have won this race. If anything, Ryan Blaney might have run out of gas or wrecked trying to win this race. But Kyle Larson was winning this race because Ryan Blaney wasn't going to wreck Kyle Larson because Ryan Blaney doesn't race that way. So it wouldn't have changed anything. So it's fine. I'm still annoyed by the inconsistency, but I'm not annoyed with the result. I'm not annoyed with the result. Both stories would have been good. Ryan Blaney winning here for Roger would have been a good story, but this was the best possible story. Kyle Larson gets his redemption after Indy, basically announces that he's running Indy next year, despite apparently Rick Hendrick's knowledge. But we all knew he was going to do it again if he can. So, no, I'm good with the win. I think it's a fitting win. How about just the prestige is back of winning at the Brickyard, James? So nice to see the excitement and Caitlin Larson chugging a beer or shotgunning a beer on the front stretch.
yeah, Caitlin Larson's back. She's chugging beers. The race mattered. Yeah, that was fun. I mean, it was a good race, but
it was a good race by Indianapolis standards. But that's what you get. This is Indianapolis.
But god dang it, if we don't get into stage 3 again, Eric. Yeah. Every time we start stage 3, I mean,
you know what?
You feel it, right?
I disagree. You feel it. I disagree because I was at a race on Friday night, which we'll talk about in a little bit, that the exact opposite happened. We got to stage 3 and nothing happened.
I'm telling you, man, stage 3 in the Cup Series is a wreck fest.
Yeah.
Every week.
It is because all they do those first 2 stages is ride.
I know, and the fuel strategy is driving me nuts.
Oh my God! Ask Denny Hamlin about fuel strategy. He loves it. He was bitching his whole podcast this week about it because he sucks at it.
And Kyle Busch freaking nailed it, man. He's like, we've got teams on 2 different strategies. You either pit here, you pit there, and it's every week now.
Yep.
You've got 2 different strategies every single week. It's almost like the teams have everything mapped out.
Yeah.
And they're just running laps to get to stage 3, and then when stage 3 is like, okay, game on, everybody go.
Well, you know what else Kyle Busch nailed? The wall in turn 3.
That's a good segue. And he didn't need to.
Right.
He was fine.
What in the world? He had a top 5 finish if he'd have just stayed in his spot.
At the worst.
Yeah, but Keselowski was going to run out of gas.
Yep.
I don't know what he was
All
thinking.
he had to do was sit. I don't know.
He's the one. You want to blame somebody. Blame him.
That was his fault.
He screwed everything up.
Yeah, he did.
I don't get it, man. It was a low percentage move, and I give him credit. He didn't take Denny with him.
Yeah, he didn't. Then he ended up getting in the next one.
Yeah. Then he got caught up anyway. But
Carson Hocevar took care of that.
Yeah. Speaking of Kyle Busch, let's talk about who was mad at who this week. I put this here instead of in the news because it's kind of more.
That's fine. Here. Yeah, it makes sense. It's fine.
So Kyle Busch goes on the Pat McAfee show earlier in the week.
It's wonderful, by the way.
Yeah, he had a great conversation about the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fight. I thought Kyle held himself really well. He was getting some picking a little bit from Pat.
Pat was trying.
Yeah,
he was trying.
But Kyle, he pulled a Trump and did claim ownership of the Ricky Stenhouse nickname, which I don't think is his. But then he said that no, he might not have made it up, but he called him that. So
that is very Trumpy.
It is very Trumpy. But anyway, so he talked about the fight a little bit. It's a good watch. And then he called Corey LaJoie a liar.
I loved it.
And Corey LaJoie's not happy about it, James. Go figure, right?
Well, somebody on a national TV show called him a liar, huh? Corey should be mad about the internet dragging him all week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he didn't come out on the right end of this one, did he?
No, he did not. And he tried. Yeah, So Pat McAfee show. I mean, this is why Pat gets paid what he does at ESPN.
Yeah, I don't have a lot other than the fact that every time I turn on ESPN, Pat McAfee's on it.
It's either Pat McAfee or Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, so that's all I know about Pat McAfee. I don't know who the hell he is. I don't know where he came from, but I do know his show is popular.
And he's based out of Indianapolis. This is why Kyle Busch is there.
Right.
Yeah. This is what he does. He's he has a brand, and Kyle Busch played right into it.
And I give Kyle credit. He went on it. He didn't hold back. He's
not going to. No.
Yeah, he was honest. This is what we want out of our drivers, and it rubbed Corey the wrong way. But I mean, really, Kyle doesn't have a whole lot to worry about. Yeah, they've been running together lately because Kyle's been sucking. But
I hope they see each other at Richmond.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're going to cool off over the break.
The only problem is that Kyle called his shot and said he had one coming, and now if he does it, he's going to get fined or penalized.
And NASCAR did the thing that they always do and promoted the quote on their social feeds.
Of course.
And then when he does it, he's going to get fined.
Yep. He isn't going to do it. You don't call your shot and do it. Nobody does.
Maybe he'll be subtle about it. He ain't going to fight. I know that.
No.
But that was great, man. When he just flat out called him a liar.
I loved it. I thought the interview was great.
Oh yeah, it's gold. It's the best. It's the best Kyle Busch we've had in a while. Like we've had sappy Kyle Busch all season. That was old school Kyle right there, getting back in it. So
we got up that morning and we're eating breakfast down in our hotel in Muncie, Indiana, and the boys look up at the TV and they say, "Oh, Kyle Busch is on TV," and yeah, there he was on the Pat McAfee Show. So
and I think I messaged you and was like, "Ooh, Kyle called Corey a liar," and you're like, "Yep, I'm watching it right now."
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh man, yeah, made for good social clips.
Yeah, it's great. During the race, Martin Truex Jr. mad at Ross Chastain. I don't really know why.
I know why. The video finally came out.
Okay, did it? Because I haven't seen.
Yeah, because I tweeted. I tweeted this in real time because I was watching it live and I watched, and I promise you, I'm not doing the thing. I'm not. I am not.
I'll give it to you. Obviously, Truex is pissed. So
Ross went into turn 1 with Truex in front of him and absolutely booted him.
Okay.
And that's why Martin was mad, and nobody talked about it. Everybody missed it.
Okay.
And
that makes more sense.
NBC didn't rewind, and I even tweeted at NBC. I was like, "You guys need to rewind you need to rewind it further." And finally today, I tweeted this out today. The video finally came out of Ross's onboard. And sure enough, just as I swore to God, I'm like, I am not seeing things here. I saw what I saw. It is the truth. And sure enough, they go into turn 1. Ross absolutely blows him up and sends him to the high side. And then they have their issues down the backstretch, which then Ross doubles down and starts driving him down the track. So Ross doing Ross things. Martin doesn't like it. And it turned into what it turned into.
Gotcha.
Everybody was mad. And I swear to God, Eric, I'm not doing it just because it's Ross. It was what I saw was what I saw. So then, yeah, it's on my Twitter feed. If you want to see
I'm literally watching it right now.
Yeah. He boots him. He boots him right out of the corner.
Yeah.
And then Martin gets super mad, which I don't blame him. He got punted, but
that makes more sense.
Martin's never going to mince words, though, man.
No. Well, and that's the thing. Like, it didn't make any sense that Martin had the wrong guy. So I figured something had to happen.
Yeah, it was just nobody covered it. And then the Teardown didn't cover it. I was listening to Jeff and Jordan. I'm like, oh.
Well, they were there after the show, after the race.
I know. I'm like, surely Jeff and Jordan, somebody caught it. No, they're talking. And Jeff's I don't know why he's mad.
I don't know where the press box is at Indy. I'm assuming it's in the Pagoda. Yeah, you can't see crap. So. I believe the press box and the media center are the same at Indy.
I do feel good that I still got the eye. I still got an eye for it. I can see it. I was like, I saw it. I know I saw it.
I didn't see it, but
swear to God, I saw it. So anyway, there you go. That's why Martin was mad.
Got it. William Byron was mad at Chase Briscoe.
Well, he had a right to be mad at him on that one.
Yeah, felt like he had more reason to be mad at Ryan Preece for sticking his nose in there, though.
Well, Preece was... Yeah, but...
Preece is the one who made it 3 wide.
Yeah, but the reason they got 3 wide was probably why Chase is the point man for that one. He was all over the damn place.
Yeah, he don't care, though. I mean, at this point...
Either of the Stewart-Haas cars.
Yeah.
I can blame.
At this point, Chase is... He's good for next season. He's just trying to win.
He don't care. Yeah, he just want to win the race. That was a pretty big hit for Byron.
Yeah, it was. That flinging back across the track stuff, that was rough.
Well, and he almost hit he was thankfully past where the wall jets
the crossover
out a little bit. So, yeah, the crossover gate. He pounded the inside retainer, but I was like, holy smokes, man.
Yeah, at least they have, I don't know why they don't put safer bearing on the outside at Indy, but they have it on the inside at least, thank goodness, because he hit hard down there. Mm-hmm. Ryan Blaney was mad at Carson Hocevar, as were several others. What do you think of the Carson Hocevar move? You think that he's in the wrong on that?
You can't stick it 3 wide there.
I mean, there's a lot of room. He really didn't. If you watch the replay, he didn't move. Everybody else moved and formed a lane to the bottom. He just stayed in his lane. But you're going into turn 1.
That's a young driver. He's not going to get off the gas.
That's a rookie move, is what that is.
He didn't. Yeah. Again, I one of my favorite sayings: "Live to fight another day." He just was fighting in the moment. He didn't think about it. He was just going in. Took out Jimmy, who was having a decent day.
Yeah.
Jimmy was up there.
Yeah.
Legacy was having a decent day. John Hunter was having a good day.
Yeah, John Hunter led a bunch of laps in this thing.
Yeah, and then it was all for naught. They all ended up wadded up.
Yeah, where the hell did John Hunter
Joey got taken out in that wreck.
29th. 16 laps led for John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, he was having a good day.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got wiped out.
Great day, Bubba Wallace. Wins stage 2. Finishes 5th. Gets a bunch of points. Yeah. 7 out now, right? Is that right?
Yep. Ross keeps having problems.
Yeah.
Bubba's having good runs. It's
historically, people at this point in the season don't move up, but Bubba, first of all, he's going to go to Michigan and have a good shot at a win.
Yeah. He'll be good at Richmond, too.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll be good at
By
Daytona.
the way, speaking of Bubba Wallace, Eric, 10 years to the day, today, we went down to Eldora and he won.
Nice.
The very first Dirt Derby.
Second.
Or was the Mud Summer Classic.
Yeah.
Remember?
This was the second win because Austin Dillon won the first one.
Oh, that's right. That was 11 years ago. Austin Dillon. Yes. Because we went to, I remember now. Yes. We went to 3.
Yep.
Yes.
I went to all but
Dillon,
one.
Bubba Wallace. I know.
I missed the last one, and that was it.
I went to the first 3. Austin, Bubba, and Chris Bell. Yes.
There you go.
Phew. Oh my God, my memory's starting to go.
Tyler Reddick, I saw somebody tweet it out, and I retweeted it, asking to superimpose his face in the 27 Dresses
saw that
movie poster. Another second place for Tyler Reddick. 40 laps led in this one. Little less irritated after this one, though. But yeah, another second place for Tyler. They're going to be scary in the postseason, that's for sure, because they're good.
He's racking up top 10s like it's nobody's business.
Racking up top 2s.
Yeah. Oh, that too. Yeah. Yeah. He's what's his playoff point situation? I gotta look at that because we have it here in the notes. I was gonna look at that.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick has 8 playoff points.
I mean, that's where it's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
That's the stinker of it. He's got to.
Yeah, because he's got these second place finishes, but he hasn't run well during the race.
Yeah, like Larson, Byron, those guys all have a lot of state. Like
Larson's got 28. Denny Hamlin's got 21. Blaney's got 12. Yeah, Christopher Bell has 24.
24, and he's 8th in points. So, yeah, there's a lot of playoff points that need to be had. Yeah, you don't want to be low on the totem pole in the playoff points, but he'll get some for where he finishes in points too. So
right. Christopher Bell, speaking of Christopher Bell, very quietly, 4th place finish for him.
Yeah, he didn't have what he's been on a tear lately, but yeah, he wasn't there all day, but yeah, he made it through to the end.
Yeah.
Todd Gilliland, man.
Yeah, I was going to mention him next. 6th place finish for him. What a day. He's
been awesome this year. We were talking about him early in the season, Eric. I'm like, why is Todd Gilliland always leading laps?
Right.
And he's starting to find finishes now. So he's led 121 laps this year. He's got 4 top 10s. He's starting to figure it out. His average finish has improved from 22 to 19 over the season. So he is slowly making gains, but it's starting to become noticeable now. When you see him cracking into the top 10 like that, that's awesome.
We talked about Ross Chastain and his struggles. Daniel Suarez gets top 10, 8th place finish for him.
Yep.
Noah Gragson up there again. Chase Elliott rebounded for 10th. Carson Hocevar finished 12th despite wrecking half the field.
Ty Gibbs was hanging around all day, and then he had an engine issue again.
Yeah.
That slowed him up.
Yeah.
And
I was watching for him.
He didn't swear on the radio, but he came as close as a Gibbs has ever come to swearing. So I heard that one. They're going to have to put in a little extra work over the holiday or the Olympic break here. See what they got going on. But
who was I just looking at? John Hunter Nemechek, we mentioned him. Like I said, 16 laps led, finishes 29th. Didn't get the finish, got involved in the accident, but great run for him for
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, Legacy in general was doing well.
Yeah.
Jimmy ends up 33rd. William Byron 38th. AJ Allmendinger was involved in the wreck with William Byron. He finishes 37th. Harrison Burton was in that one too. Josh Berry, Joey Logano, those guys were all involved in those wrecks. Yeah. There you go. BJ McLeod, last place. 15 laps in this race for BJ McLeod.
He made it. Yeah, good job, BJ McLeod.
So there you go. There is the Brickyard. I wanted to discuss. We've already stretched this out a long time, but I wanted to discuss. We can make it a short discussion, just mainly because we're going into this 2-week break. The Teardown talked about Final Four, and they kind of agreed on 3 locks for the Final Four, and they were trying to decide who the fourth was. I wanted to visit a little bit differently here, and I want to ask you, James, and discuss who to you are the locks, if there are any, for the Final Four at this point. Ugh. Who do you see as a guaranteed Final Four pick right now? We talked about playoff points again. Kyle Larson, 28. Denny Hamlin, 21. Christopher Bell leads with 24. All those guys have more than... Or no, I'm sorry. Kyle Larson leads with 28.
He's second.
Yep. Those 3 are the only ones in the 20s. Everybody else is below that. 16 for William Byron, who has cooled off lately. This was supposed to be the year of Byron, but it's really cooled off.
Yeah, he comes and goes. I'm actually not as worried about him yet. He'll get hot again. Maybe that's what's going to happen. He'll get hot in the playoff.
Yeah. But with this system, can we lock anybody in? I don't think you can.
2 of them stand out, and it's Larson and Bell. Those are the 2 that stand out. Because Bell, he likes the tracks in the around 8. So,
and here's the biggest thing that they were talking on the Teardown, and they're talking about these guys that where they're running, and it's like, if you remember last year, nobody had Blaney going to the Final Four.
No,
except for Dale Jr.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And that was it. And he ended up going and winning it all. So, I mean,
he's better this year than he was last year, too.
Yeah, so does that lock him in?
By far.
Do you say Blaney's got to make it then if he made it last year?
I mean, he should. If I had to pick 4, if I had to pick 4, I would say Larson, Blaney, Bell, and I would probably say Hamlin.
Yeah, I think that's the 4 I would pick too.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least one of those isn't going to make it.
One of those guys with 20 points isn't going to make it.
Yeah. Because it always works out that way.
Yeah, and maybe Reddick, this is year Reddick's like, oh crap, here comes Tyler Reddick. Maybe he's the Blaney guy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, anybody can take off. All you got to do is get in the playoffs and then take off. And yeah, Reddick is certainly one that I could see click off a bunch of races.
Yeah. Blaney's been so good recently. It's hard to say he's gonna fade away. I think he's gonna be really strong.
Who's your surest bet? Is it Larson?
Larson. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so good, man. He's just so good.
And I think here's the thing with Larson. Think about the races he gave away.
Oh, I know. I know.
He has 4 wins this season, and he has given away at least 4.
Yeah.
There's at least 4 that he was the fastest car that he wrecked out of.
Well, that's the thing. Like, can you just tighten it up in the playoffs for a run here? You'll be fine. They'll be fine. That team is so good, man. They're just dialed in. Like, watching them execute at the Brickyard, again, it's like they just got it, man. I
love Cliff Daniels as a crew chief too. I love him on the radio.
He's good.
That team's just so good. I'm with you.
They're the perennial favorites, right? I mean, they're what Jimmy and Chad were like. That's the kind of like high talent. But Larson makes mistakes. He makes a lot of them, so you can't.
But he's made a career on that. Yeah, that's why he's so fast.
You want him to be who he is.
Yeah,
he's got to be who he is.
Yeah, you try to rein him in, and you've ruined him.
He's got to race.
Yep.
Let him race.
Yep. Which could cost you in the championship.
Yeah. He's got his cup title, so he's going to race how he races. He's won a title doing it his way. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll get another one someday. It's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard to win these championships.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to leave out Brad either. Like.
He's not in the Final Four, though.
No, he's probably not in the Final Four, but that dude just. There's something about him. He's like a supercomputer in his brain or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not going all the way, though.
No, but he's got performance now, and I've always had a thing with, like, I don't know. I've always felt Brad's been a little bit of an underachiever, or maybe underrated as for what he really is and what he's accomplished in his career.
I 100% agree with that.
And if he gets the whatever he needs, if it's like 5% more, whatever that thing is that he needs to finish the deal, he's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He's not gonna go away. Yeah.
I agree. I think if you can call him a sleeper, I think Tyler Reddick's the sleeper for the Final Four.
Probably, yeah.
But and I think he's only the sleeper because he's only got 8 points. But he's been so good that I think he can squeak his way through there. I mean, just a tad better, and he's a multiple-time winner this season. So
yeah, yep.
But all right, well there we go. That's a good discussion. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I have to keep an eye on it now, man. Every week now, it's getting close. We got 4 races till the cutoff.
Yeah. Yep.
Richmond, Michigan, Daytona, Darlington, right?
That is correct. And 2 weeks of the Olympics.
And 2 weeks of breakdancing is one of the Olympic sports this year.
There you go. Do you have your numbers there? 27th victory, 352 Cup Series races for Kyle Larson.
Oh, you want me to look it up and where he ranks all time? Because it's a good one.
You can.
Did you know that I saw this today? 26 of 28 Brickyard 400 winners are in the top 75 list.
Interesting.
The only 2 missing, can you name them? Do you think you can name them?
Dude, I'd have to look at a list of Brickyard 400
winners.
There's one
you've got to know. One
Paul
Brickyard
Menard.
400 winner. Paul Menard is one. The other one, kind of sneaky, it's Jamie McMurray.
Okay.
People forget he won the Brickyard. He had that awesome year.
I don't forget that he won the Brickyard because, he won all the crown jewels.
He did.
Did he win Darlington? You don't need to look that up.
No, he never won Darlington. I don't think he did.
All right.
But yeah, he almost won the Coke 600. Then he ended up winning he won the fall Charlotte race. I remember that.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle Larson, all time. You ready?
Sure.
Here's the company he's running with. He's 27 wins all time. That's 32nd on the all time wins list. Just ahead of him, I'll start at 29th. Dale Jarrett, 32 wins. Carl Edwards, 28. Rex White, 28. And immediately behind Kyle Larson now is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Fred Lorenzen.
Interesting.
He passes Jr. and bumps him to 33rd all time.
Wow. That's impressive considering this was the guy that could barely get that 3rd win. I mean, it took forever to get the 1st win, but...
Yeah. Remember he was tied with Chase Elliott for the longest time? Now Chase Elliott's down in 44th. He's got 19 career wins. Man.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's chasing down Joey Logano.
That's nuts.
Logano's right there too. Martin Truex Jr. He's like going to be in that company. Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, those guys are all within 10 of him now.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 10 wins away from, let me see, 10 more wins puts him 23rd all time. So, and then you're talking Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin. So that's the club he's approaching. So,
Kyle Larson is 31 years old.
Yeah, so if he wins 5 races a year for the next handful of years,
yeah,
like
but you remember we've done this.
Oh yeah,
this whole if they win so many
Busch.
races a year, we did it with Kyle Busch, we did it with Jimmy Johnson.
Yep. Yeah, and Kyle Busch went to Richard Childress. Well, Kyle Busch struggled at Gibbs for a long time, but yeah.
Yep. Carson Hocevar was your highest finishing rookie in 12th place. Kyle Larson's your points leader, 10 points over Chase Elliott, and I will remind you once again that he missed a race this season.
He did.
There you go. There's your Cup
Series.
Series.
The race in the paint scheme he won with this weekend.
Yes. Yeah, that was great. Just all around great ending to it. Glad he got his Indy win. Now he can go try it one more time in the 500 next year.
Heck yeah, dude.
But yeah, I'm as much as controversy as there was, the right winner won that race. So
yeah, I think so.
Let's bust through the other 2 races real quick. The NASCAR Xfinity Series in action the day before. It was the Pennzoil 250 presented by Advanced Auto Parts. Great battle at the end between teammates Riley Herbst and Cole Custer. Riley Herbst gets a win. Denny Hamlin immediately tweets out afterwards, impressive. Ironically, this is the guy who's likely going to his car.
Yeah,
here.
Yeah. I immediately retweeted that and went, "Oh, commenting on his future driver." I see.
Yeah, he tried to downplay it a little bit on the podcast this week, but he didn't do a very good job.
Dude, come on, your bias is showing. We can see it.
Riley led 30 laps in this one. Cole Custer led 47. I mean, these were the two cars.
Eric Almirola was right there, though.
Yes, he was.
That was a 3-car battle for the win. That was an unbelievable final laps.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
James, you know what we need to do?
That was freaking phenomenal.
You know what we need to do?
Say it. I know what you're going to say.
We need fans to rally and have more people show up on Saturdays than Sunday. And then NASCAR will get the hint, and they will just run this package in the Cup Series.
You know what we could do is we could have all the Cup drivers race in the Xfinity Series like we used to.
Yeah, that didn't work.
No, it did not. This car, though, has aged like a fine wine.
It's old. That's why they've just tuned on it and made the best package possible. And it's so good.
And Riley frickin' Herbst, by the way, sliding it through turn 3 sideways. I'm never going to make a Riley Herbst joke again.
James, is he a Cup driver?
Yeah, he is.
Do you think he is?
I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah,
really?
I'm not doing it anymore. Yep, I'm not doing it anymore. He's good.
I don't think he's ready.
I've seen enough.
I don't think he's ready.
This race reminded me.
He is going to Paul Menard the Cup Series is what he's going to do.
He might.
He will.
This was what this race reminded me of because it's the same damn situation. Remember when Chase Briscoe went toe-to-toe with Kyle Busch at Darlington?
Yeah.
And it was just a slugfest. And it was just drivers driving as hard as they could. This was in that tier. I mean, those guys were
in total respect because they're teammates, so they're not going to get into each other.
Let me just remind you, he beat 2 guys who have won races in the Cup Series and the defending Xfinity Series champion, toe-to-toe.
And future Cup Series driver once again.
Yep, haymakers. Just throwing haymakers at each other. And it was clean racing. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a great race. I mean, the Xfinity race all around was great. Like you said, the package is perfect there. The slingshot move at the end. I forgot to mention during the Cup discussion, but Kyle Larson had the IndyCar slingshot figured out and was really good at just making that last second move going into the turn. But yeah, just a great race.
Speaking of that one more time,
did
you see the video where Larson downshifted to 3rd gear on Denny Hamlin? He he took Denny Hamlin on the inside,
I did see that.
Downshifted to 3rd, hit the throttle, and then upshifted back to 4th.
Yeah.
I was amazed.
Guy's unreal.
I know. He's unreal. I know.
Shane Van Gisbergen finished 4th in this race, James.
Hey, open wheel guys who've got, had some history racing abroad. They like Indianapolis.
I'll tell you, that's if Shane can figure out ovals. I mean, he's still got work to do, but he was running good at Pocono. And
he got wrecked for 83rd or whatever he said.
Yeah, and he put on a great run here. He was there all day. I mean, he was up toward the front all day. So great run for him. Finished 7th at stage 2. So good for him. Sheldon Creed top 5. I don't know anything else really. Is there a lot to I don't think there's really a whole lot else to discuss.
I mean, that last lap took the whole and we spent so much time on the format.
Yeah, it was
that last lap.
Pretty much those two.
Stole the show. Stole the show.
Josh Berry didn't make a lap in 15 car.
His tires did though. His tires were on all sorts of other cars.
Yeah.
Those white rims.
Yeah.
Sam Mayer didn't make a lap either.
No, yeah, they both were involved in that turn 3 wreck.
Yep.
But
was it the Haley Deegan or was it the car?
I don't know.
Every week we just have to check in.
No, we'll find out next year when she's driving that 98 car.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're gonna find out.
Let's see. Shane Van Gisbergen, highest finishing rookie, 4th place. That was Riley Herbst's 2nd NASCAR Xfinity Series victory. And Cole Custer's points leader, 56 points over Justin Allgaier in the NASCAR Xfinity
Riley
Series.
Herbst's wins have been just absolutely ridiculous. He won that Vegas race by not very much either.
Yep. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series was at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, as was I, James.
You were there.
On Friday night. Yes, I was there. The TSport 200. Ty Majeski comes from the back after a penalty to get his 2nd IRP win in a row.
I told you Chris Neckis wasn't going to win. He has the...
Yeah.
He'll win the next one, though.
No, you're totally right. We all picked drivers before the race, and I told my wife, I said, pick that 19 or the 11. And both of them were good. Corey Heim obviously got into it with the 19 and ended up finishing 17th. But yeah, Ty was my pick, and I was not expecting him to do as well as he did, but he was lights out all night. Led 56 laps despite getting sent to the back. I didn't catch there what he did. He jump the start, or did he go low or pass before the line? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just know he got a penalty, and either way,
yeah, it wasn't legal.
Yeah. Okay, good. That works.
Yeah,
yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't a barn burner. It was still good racing. I mean, I'll tell you, they had the ARCA race ahead of time, and the ARCA race was as you would expect. There was some really good racing at the beginning of the ARCA race for the lead, and then once things stretched out, you had 8 cars on the lead lap, and it just was a single file conveyor belt around the track. This truck race, man, no matter what lap it was, you could look somewhere and there was somebody battling side by side. IRP is
a great racetrack.
Absolutely awesome racetrack. The fact that the groove is up by the wall. I've dreamed of going to that place my whole life. Watched, many Saturday Night Thunder and Thursday Night Thunders on that at that track, and always wanted to be there. And when I went to Indy several years ago and went and checked the big track out, we didn't go to IRP to see it either. So this is my first time there, and it was a good show. I will say their parking situation really sucks trying to leave. We sat for 45 minutes literally in our parking spot without being able to move. And then suddenly the gates opened and we were just out. So I don't know what their traffic is.
I was going to ask you, what was the facility like as far as how prestigious of a race can they hold there?
You've been to Berlin.
Yes.
It's very similar to Berlin.
Oh, okay.
It's a local short track. It's got a big grandstand and a nice. I mean, Berlin is really, as far as a local track, it is the closest I could compare it to.
Okay, I got
it really is a very similar facility. Feels like they've got about the same amenities. Actually, some of parts of Berlin might be a little nicer even.
Berlin did a nice job when I was there. I mean, gosh, that was a year ago now, but
yeah.
But they've got the grandstands are there. I mean, they've got a good setup going.
Berlin's got nicer bathrooms. And Berlin being at the fairgrounds too helps it. But it's a good setup. I mean, like I said, it's not. You walk in there and you do not feel like you're at a cup track. I honestly think, everybody wants the Xfinity Series to go back there, but the Xfinity Series might be just a little too big for it now. Yeah. Because, I mean, they packed that place for the trucks. It wasn't elbow to elbow. There was room in the stands. We had room around us, but it was pretty packed for the trucks. And you got to imagine your Xfinity Series is going to draw probably at least 50% more, if not 75 to 100% more than what they had. And there's just no place to put them. I think back when they used to run the Xfinity Series there, I think they used to put temporary stands around turns 3 and 4. So that would help. They have the hill down in turn 1. There was a lot of room on the hill. But I don't know. I don't know if it, I mean, you could run them anywhere because obviously you can limit ticket sales, but it's definitely fitting for a truck series race. I don't know if it's big enough to run an Xfinity Series race anymore. But I'd love to see it, man. It'd be a great show.
Yeah. Well, all the big dogs came out. I was messaging you because you were there, obviously. And then I said, oh, Gluck's on the outside. And then I was like, well, no, he's not slumming it with you anymore. He's back on the inside of the track.
Well, it's a 17-minute drive during practice for the Cup Series. It's a 17-minute drive from the big track to IRP. Or I believe they said it's a 7-minute helicopter flight, as Ross Chastain found out. So
yeah, he did.
Yeah. So
did you go by the big track at all?
Yeah, we drove. That's where we came into town and we drove by the big track. Okay. I will tell you, James, I know you have complained on this podcast before and in person and on social media about the wet fart sound of the Cup cars. But we drove to the track and you could see the roofs going by on the wall as you drove by, but you couldn't tell what it was. But I put my windows down and I went, that's the Cup Series. And sure enough, it was a Cup Series. You can tell the difference with those cars. They have a growl to them. They have a throaty sound. And I know it's artificial because they do it with the exhaust, but they have a throaty sound and they sound good. I'll tell you. They're loud. They're louder than the other cars.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Have you been to Indy?
No, I've been in Indy, never to the racetrack. Never to Speedway.
Okay.
Never went into Speedway, Indiana. No.
So it's really interesting because, and I think Gluck talked about it on his podcast, like it's literally in the middle of a neighborhood. It's just there's the behind the front stretch. There's like a block of parking and then it's just houses, And like there's houses over in turn 3 that you could stand in the backyard and like climb a tree and watch the race. It's pretty interesting, and the whole town just embraces that place. It looks beautiful. We didn't go in obviously, but we drove by it. And we drove down the main drag into Speedway. They've got the Dallara factory is right there on the main drag. There's a indoor karting place, and then there's Charlie Brown's restaurant, which is awesome. We didn't eat there, but I ate there before, and it's great. It's a great little hole-in-the-wall diner that has all kinds of racing memorabilia and stuff. But it's very cool. It was pretty neat. It's not Indy's funny because if you've been to other tracks, it's not as big in that the stands aren't as tall because it's older. But the place is massive. I mean, it's just insane how much area it takes up. Yeah. But it's not like seeing the grandstands at Daytona or something, or even Michigan. The stands aren't that big, but it's a cool place. Low.
The Patagonia stands out.
Yeah, I mean you can drive by on the road and you could probably throw a tennis ball and hit the racetrack if there weren't fences in the way.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, great experience down there. IRP did a great job. Definitely would like to go back. I had a contact issue, so I really had a bunch of issues through the entire second half of the race.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was driving me crazy. I was just burning and watering, and I barely got to watch it, but it was still fun. Good times. Fourth victory in 81 Craftsman Truck Series races for Ty Majeski. Lane Riggs was our highest finishing rookie in 5th place. Great run for Lane Riggs. And right. Christian Eckes is your points leader, 50 points over Corey Heim in the Truck Series. And there you go.
There you go.
Indianapolis. We don't have much for news, James, but we'll talk real quick about Cole Custer, who is officially moving back up to the Cup Series. He will drive the 41 in 2025 for the Haas factory team, which will have an open book alliance with RFK next year.
Good luck.
Yeah. One-car teams have not historically done well. But I don't know if I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect out of this team. I don't know whether to expect something good or to expect the old Haas that we saw before Tony came on board.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. Maybe. It might be okay.
I mean, I want it to be competitive.
The satellite team's just never going to. I don't know. It's tough. It's not like it's going to be Furniture Row Racing with Gibbs, It's just
but it's also not like Haas doesn't have money to put into it if he wants to.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's... I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. They're going to keep the Xfinity Series team, obviously.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, the rumor is that they've been talking to Haley Deegan, and Haas has apparently offered an Xfinity contract to Riley Herbst. But I don't think he's going to take that contract.
I think he's got another option.
Yeah, pretty sure as soon as a charter deal is signed, he's going to have an option. But then again, like I think they mentioned on DBC this week, if you're Haas and you're selling charters and you just started an open book alliance with RFK and you have an opportunity to sell a charter, would you sell it to the team you have an alliance with, or would you sell it to a competitor? You know?
The alliance, right?
Yeah. Right, yeah. You'd sell it to RFK.
Yeah.
So who knows? None of these deals are done.
Yeah.
The only deal that we think is done is supposedly the front row deal is done. But I don't know what they bought because we don't even know if we have charters. So I don't know.
Yeah, and Trackhouse is what?
They're expected to get one, but they haven't. Yeah. They haven't signed, and there's been no announcement. So
yeah,
I don't know. we'll see, I guess, right?
I mean, I think these deals are all in place. It's just
I think so too.
It's what we've always been saying though, right? We have nothing to sell.
Yeah.
Right. The charters don't exist.
Yeah.
Beyond 2024. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. But Brad has said he doesn't want one. So
yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of team owners say they aren't going to do things and then they do them. I seem to remember Denny Hamlin adamantly denying that he was going to go into business with Michael Jordan and start a team.
Yeah.
I remember pretty adamant comments from Denny Hamlin at Michigan to my face and other reporters' faces about things that weren't happening that ended up happening. So I don't know.
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
We didn't put this in the notes, but Denny Hamlin's screaming about NASCAR giving them what $18 million per team. NASCAR at least covering that cost. Have you seen
no,
this?
No, I didn't see any of it.
All right, so he said, again, I'm going to paraphrase just a little bit, but Denny said the least NASCAR can do on our next agreement is give us $18 million per season, like a franchise, to run these teams. And then we're not scrapping for every single penny to put a car on the track. And then Landon Castle came off the top rope and said, well, NASCAR's not forcing you to pay so many millions of dollars to compete.
Yeah.
So now it's turned into Landon. I see Landon Castle just tweeted back again that it's going back and forth basically. That basically Landon Castle took NASCAR's side on, well, who's forcing you to pay all this money for all these things to run? And I'm like, well, you do have to be competitive. Like I don't know what these teams are expected to do.
Here's the thing: you do have to be competitive, but Denny Hamlin can take all that money and go race in a different series and not earn the money he's going to earn for NASCAR.
That's right. Yeah, Denny's making out very well.
Yeah,
but again, let me. I can't believe I'm taking Denny Hamlin's side here. Let me say this: if you want the best product out there, you need teams that can spend and be as competitive as possible. So. Catch-22, right? You need a Hendrick, but you can't have just a Hendrick, right? Or else you're F1.
Yeah.
You need a Hendrick and a Gibbs and a 2311 and a Penske. You need heavyweights that can.
I don't know. ThorSport fields half the trucks in the Truck Series. Does it make a difference?
There you go. Well, doesn't ThorSport win?
ThorSport doesn't have either of the two trucks running for the championship right now.
Well, no, that's true. That's true. I'm not gonna.
I mean,
I'm not going to debate. I mean,
I don't know. Does NASCAR fall? Okay. Does it affect NASCAR in the end if 2311 leaves next year? If they just leave,
somebody will take their place.
Right. Maybe if Hendrick goes, maybe. Joe Gibbs goes, maybe. Penske. Maybe, but Penske's right on the edge. Other than those three teams, it don't make a difference in the end, unless three of them go.
But I think what we love about racing right now in the Cup Series is it is as competitive right now as it's ever been.
Yeah.
And if you start taking teams like that away,
I agree.
It gets less competitive. Like we had, I remember the Xfinity series, which has gotten much better, but man, when Joe Gibbs Racing, there was a time when Joe Gibbs Racing just won every single race, and Kyle Busch was. I mean, it's
the other thing to keep in mind
glimpses of it,
and we're going down a rabbit hole here. The other thing to keep in mind with Xfinity and the Busch series, the old Busch series, people's argument for why we shouldn't disallow Cup drivers to run the Xfinity series was because they've always run in the Busch series. But you have to remember, back when Dale Earnhardt and Davey Allison and Mark Martin, those guys were running in the Busch series, they weren't running from Cup teams in the Busch series. Dale Earnhardt owned his own Busch team. He didn't run for Richard Childress in the Busch series. Hendrick didn't have a Busch team. Harry Gant would go over there, race there. He'd race for a different team than what he raced for in the Cup series. Martin ran for Roush for a while, but that wasn't a Roush team originally either. So...
yeah.
I mean, it was a lot different back then. They were running lesser equipment than what they were running in the heyday when Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch were winning championships in the Xfinity series.
Oh, yeah.
So
I agree. Yep.
But anyway, Denny's going to lose on this deal. That's my prediction. He's not he's not getting all he wants.
He really is trying to get on the side of the fans. It's pretty funny to watch.
He's trying to, but he is the one who's going to come out on the losing end in this. Not completely. He's going to get some stuff that he wants, but he's not going to get everything he wants.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Any other news? Anything else we missed?
No, there's nothing right now.
We're running long here for such a uneventful race, right?
Yeah.
Any checkered flags this week, James?
Oh, yeah. Shoot, you go first. I had one. I got to find it really quick.
All right.
I got a good one.
I don't really...
I'm going to put you on this...
I don't really have one. I'll give a checkered flag to IRP for, I think it's their second or third year back with the Truck Series. And they did a good job. Good show out there. Like I said, other than traffic, which again wasn't bad once we got moving. Coming in was perfect. It was no problem coming in. Getting to see the ARCA show and everything out there too was good. Speaking of which, a checkered flag to Connor Zilic, who won the ARCA race. We're going to see that name a lot here in NASCAR in the next few years. That kid is something. 17 years old, and he's so good. He's so good.
Mine is the guy I retweet all the time, but it's Andrew. It's at Basso488 on Twitter. He always posts the in cars, and he's the one who shared the Chastain Truex clip. I mean, he's got all the clips.
Gotcha.
But I retweet his stuff constantly because he always just gets the in cars right. Like, I don't know if he's doing the research or what, but
they're all available on NASCAR.com if you have the system set up to pull them.
He aggregates them and puts them on Twitter, and I always see him. Like, he's on it. Like, it's his job. Like, he's just getting these things out there for everybody to see. So
can we credit NBC as well? When Fox was doing the broadcast and they started with these new cars that have the cameras in them, they would show replays of accidents, and they would take like 20 minutes later they'd show the replay from the NASCAR camera. And I always thought that was because they didn't have a good way to get them quickly. But NBC shows that camera view like during the actual replays, like right after the wreck, they are right on it. So just another feather in the cap for NBC. Sorry to take over from you, James, but
NBC was my black flag for missing the call. It was more like the whole NASCAR industry for missing.
Yeah,
missing the Ross Chastain thing.
I said they're my black flag for not having a race on Peacock. So
so we can give them a checker flag and a black flag at the same time.
There you go.
You recovered from the black flag to catch the checkered flag. Good.
Right. There you go. Excuse me. Short track corner. I'll run through it real quick. The Red Bud 400 at Anderson Speedway Saturday night. I was down there for that as well. That was the main reason for going down. 17 cars took the green flag down there for 400 laps on the little quarter-mile bull ring. That track is awesome. It's such a cool track. Kyle Steckley from Ontario won the race. He'll be joining the JEG CRA series at Toledo here in a couple of weeks, or this week, actually, this Friday. We'll get to that in a second. Blake Childers qualified on the pole for the Reveal the Hammer late models at Owasso Speedway on Saturday night. Then drew a 16 for the invert, James. He had to go back and start 16th. With 15 laps to go, he passed Kyle Crump to go back to the lead and finish the race to take the win. So a win for Blake Childers there. The JEG CRA All-Star Tour in action Friday night at Toledo Speedway. It's the HB Concerts Promenade Pavilion 100 at Toledo Speedway. Biggest, fastest track that the JEG CRA series runs on, I believe. They also run at Salem, but I think this one is faster than that for them. So there you go. There's short track corner.
Fantastic.
Oh, and Dale Jr. raced out at Langley too.
He had a good run.
Yeah. It sounded like he was in the running for the win, but
he was having a good old time.
Yeah. James, it is Olympic break time. We got 2 weeks off, and then we go to Richmond, and you are off on vacation. So I get to do this whole thing on my own.
I guess I got 3 weeks off.
I guess you do. So next podcast, you'll either just get me, or if I can wrangle up somebody to put on here with me, you'll get that. But more than likely, it'll just be me breaking down the Richmond race, which I'm sure will be super exciting. We do have the option tire. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. The NASCAR Cup Series back in action on August 11th, 6 p.m. on Sunday. It's the Cookout 400. The Craftsman Truck Series has the Clean Harbors 250 Saturday night, August 10th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The NASCAR Xfinity Series is off until Michigan on August 17th. James, you get first pick for Richmond. Who is your pick?
Oh, man. You know what? Maybe I'll pick him a week earlier than I'm supposed to, but get me Bubba Wallace. I think Bubba Wallace is going to show up and have a good run.
I'll take Denny.
Denny. I mean, he's going to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Listen, I picked Larson at Indianapolis. You picked Denny at Richmond.
There you go.
Fair's fair.
Yep, fair's fair. Fantasy League, how'd that go this week, James?
Oh, Eric, you know how it went. Yes. I'm back in victory lane. I finally get a crown jewel. The Brickyard 400 is mine. 233 points. The winner, Miss Mickey Elliott. I can't say that. Second place, and Freight Train also second place. Byron Speedway was fourth. Eric, you were 10th.
And I picked this week.
Eric,
but I'm out of Larson picks. So,
by the way, Watermelon James was ahead against me 8-4. I am now up 10-8.
Dang.
On Watermelon James. Life is good. And overall standings, I jumped from 6th to 3rd. So I am feeling good about the break. So as long as I don't forget my lineup when we get back, I think I'll be in good shape. Cole Custer's last stand is the leader. Green Eggs and Hamlin moves into P2. I move into P3. So we had some movement at the top, but everybody's close all the way down from 1st to 5th is 100 points difference right now. So lots of jostling to be had here for everybody at the top.
Watermelon James must have run out of his advantage of having extra picks for drivers because he started late.
Yes, that was yes. I had insider information that Watermelon James forgot to set his lineup this week.
Oh, that might do it too.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I explained him. We all do that once a season, so.
Or there's me that does it 3 or 4 times.
Well, yeah.
And sometimes does better when they don't set their
Eric,
lineup.
you're almost in the top 10. If you could just tighten it up a little bit.
I don't even care, man. I don't even care. It's so stupid.
You're right there. But you're right behind Todd. You're 10 points behind Todd.
Yeah.
I got to give you some sort of carrot.
So stupid.
I feel really good about being. I tell you what, I've struggled this season in many ways with this damn fantasy league, and I've really been trying hard to get back in the fight. I'm telling you what, I feel a lot better. I was really hating it there for a good stretch, but I've had a good run here the last few weeks.
Well, good for you. Isn't it time for you to go on vacation?
It is time. I mean, I can do as well as I'm doing, and I still hate this damn thing. I do. Well, it is nice to win.
Well, James, I know you're going on vacation, but if people want to tweet at you during that time, how can they do that?
At James Cush on Twitter.
Or they can, whatever it is, X you. If they can X you.
X me, X, Instagram, I'm on there too.
There you go. I'm at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Wherever you found us this week, we hope you subscribe and continue to listen for new episodes each and every week, except for the next 2, because we're taking them off. If you go to anchor.fm/thesuperspeedway, you can leave us an audio message, and we might just play it on the show. It's Olympic break time. We'll be watching the games over in Paris, see if they do the opening ceremonies in the poop-filled river. I haven't caught the latest update on that, but yeah, Olympic time. We'll be enjoying that. We'll be back in a couple weeks to break down Richmond without James, and then heading off to Michigan as we get close to closing out the end of the regular season. Enjoy the time off. We'll be back here when you get back. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.